Are you ready?
It's gonna be a hot girl disco summer. I'm never doing that again. I apologize. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Here, let's fix it. Something cool. Football's here, and it's time to make some freaking money. Here are my 11 favorite NFL Week 1 anytime touchdown props, and we're going to start with Jalen Hurts on the tush push. Listen, if we're looking at Jalen Hurts' production, he scored 13 rushing touchdowns last year, 14 the year before that, 12 the year before that, and we know that the Dallas Cowboys give up the most rushing touchdowns and rushing yard production to opposing quarterbacks. I love Jalen Hurts at minus 163 for anytime touchdown. He is a smash for an anytime touchdown. We got you guys on 11. If you guys like this kind of content, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. It would really help the channel grow. Next, we got Xavier Worthy against the Los Angeles Chargers on Friday night in Brazil, plus 130. I love the odds, and I'll tell you why. If you look at the Los Angeles Chargers, they don't give up a lot of volume, but they give up a lot of chunks and explosives, plus a lot of receiving yards. There's no other wideout that's going to take away targets and opportunities from Xavier Worthy. And we saw down the stretch last year, when Xavier Worthy has those opportunities in explosive situations, he absolutely dominates and he absolutely eats. Patrick Mahomes has a great left tackle now. He's going to have time. And the pass rush for the Los Angeles Chargers actually got significantly worse this offseason. So Mahomes is going to have time. Xavier Worthy's the fastest player on the field. He's going to have time to go deep and score a touchdown. I love Xavier Worthy at plus 130. Next, we got James Conner against the New Orleans Saints. And listen, this isn't going to be like the end-all be-all, like this is the running back one for the rest of the year. But while we have him healthy, while he's still viable, while he's in a good advantageous matchup, which he is against the New Orleans Saints, at minus 138 odds, I absolutely love James Conner here. He's one of the safest touchdown plays that you can make in all of football this week. Coming in at number 4, we got my guy Brian Thomas Jr. against the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers hemorrhaged receiving touchdowns last year. They did nothing to address their defensive back room. They had the same defensive coordinator. The implied point total is 47.5. I love Brian Thomas Jr. to score early and often this game. I even would ramp him up to 2 touchdowns, and I have in a couple of my bets. Next, we got Jamar Chase versus the Cleveland Browns. Listen, this guy's going to be hyper-focused, another high implied total game situation. And plus, Brian Thomas Jr., I don't know if I mentioned this, he's at plus 120 odds, so plus money for BTJ in a very advantageous matchup, like smash it all day. Jamar Chase is at minus 125. Listen, he is the Triple Crown winner, scored, 17 touchdowns last year. Dude is an absolute monster. If you look at what the Cleveland Browns allow, they allow significant chunk plays, not a heck of a lot of volume, but chunk plays. So I also like his longest reception. But Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown, love that. All right, this next one's going to upset a couple people, but when Vegas tells you something, you kind of have to listen to Vegas, right? So I could say I like Jonathan Taylor for an anytime touchdown, but the odds just aren't juicy. But when you look at guys like Ollie Gordon, you wouldn't imagine that he's at like plus 350, plus 450. He's got like guys like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, right? But actually, Vegas hasn't projected for plus 200. And because Vegas is telling us exactly what is going to happen and how nice the odds are for Ollie Gordon, plus he's going against one of the most terrible and miserable rushing defenses that really didn't get better this offseason. Give me Ollie Gordon plus 200 for an anytime touchdown. I love that. Next, we got Drake London at plus 137. We know one thing and one thing only about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You cannot run the football on them, but you could throw a heck of a lot. Drake London's going to eat. Michael Penix hyper-focused him last year at 39% target rate. He's going to continue to feed the monster. Drake London at plus 137, plus money for Drake London anytime touchdown is crazy. And then we got Cooper Kupp at plus 225 against the San Francisco 49ers at home. And listen, they're underdogs at home. But when you look at Robert Saleh last year, he gave up the most fantasy football production last year and the year before when he was the New York Jets defensive mind and head coach at a whopping 25 fantasy points per game. Plus, he allowed over 1.5 receiving touchdowns. Based off of slot alignment and what we've seen historically from Cooper Kupp when he was healthy in week 1 matchups, I love Cooper Kupp for an anytime touchdown. I also love Cooper Kupp for 2+ touchdowns, and he's a smash start in your fantasy football lineups. Next, we got Jahmyr Gibbs against the Green Bay Packers. So say what you want. Yes, the pass rush has improved drastically for the Green Bay Packers, but one of their best interior pass rushers was part of the package that sent Micah Parsons to Green Bay. So Kenny Clark is now clogging the front for the Dallas Cowboys, and the interior portion of the Green Bay Packers line is going to be somewhat not great. So I don't mind Jahmyr Gibbs. I even don't mind David Montgomery for an anytime touchdown. But Jahmyr Gibbs at -110 makes the most sense. He's so explosive and he's so fantastic. We got two more left, and both of them are plus money. We got Nico Collins versus the Los Angeles Rams. He's at +130. And look, Nico Collins, when healthy, even though he doesn't get the most targets, he still puts up 40% of his team's offensive production, whether it be total yards, receptions, volume, and touchdowns. So he's healthy. He's in the lineup. We know one thing about the Los Angeles Rams. Their front seven is vicious. They're going to get after the quarterback, but their defensive backs suck, and they're a liability. Nico Collins can be anybody and everybody. I love Nico Collins for an anytime touchdown. Last but not least, we got the Mark Andrews revenge game against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football, where the Ravens are actually 1-point underdogs. I love him to score because there's not just retribution for the drop that he had last year in the playoffs that kind of cost the Ravens their season, but there's also the fact that when you look at the Buffalo Bills historically, especially under their defensive coordinator, the one liability that they have on the constant is the running game, but Derrick Henry's plus money is through the roof. So I love Mark Andrews for not just one anytime touchdown, but I love him for over 1.5 touchdowns. I like him for 2 touchdowns. And I would also sprinkle in Isaiah Likely, because Isaiah Likely, as we're standing, is healthy. Anyways, guys, once again, if you guys like the video, tail at your own risk. We're all adults here. If you have gambling problems, please seek help. If you guys want to tail any of these props, your first bet's on me. Sign up on Drafters Fantasy Sports. Use promo code DISCO to double your first deposit dollar for dollar. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.